By 1960, Ford Motor Company was in serious trouble. The Edsel disaster had just ended, costing the company $350 million and destroying its reputation. Executives were nervous. Shareholders were angry. And one young vice president named Lee Iacocca was about to bet everything on a car that would either save Ford or finish it off completely. The Edsel had been the most humiliating failure in American automotive history. Ford spent 10 years and $250 million developing a car that America did not want. When production finally ended in November 1959, the company had lost more money on a single product than any automaker ever had. Earnings per share dropped from $5.40 to just $2.12 in a single year. Ford needed a miracle. Lee Iacocca believed he had one. Iacocca had risen through the ranks at Ford on pure ambition. The son of Italian immigrants from Allentown, Pennsylvania, he joined the company in 1946 and became vice president and general manager of the Ford division at just 36 years old. He was young, he was aggressive, and he saw something that the older executives at Ford completely missed. The baby boom generation was coming of age. By 1964, Americans between 15 and 29 years old would be the largest car-buying demographic in the country. These young buyers did not want the big, heavy, chrome-covered land yachts their parents drove. They wanted something sporty, something affordable, something that looked like it belonged on a European racetrack but cost less than a house payment. Iacocca formed what he called the Fairlane Committee. The group included Assistant General Manager Don Frey and Product Manager Hal Sperlich. They set strict parameters for the new car. It had to weigh less than 2,500 pounds. It had to be less than 180 inches long. And most importantly, it had to sell for less than $2,500. Everything else was negotiable. To keep costs down, Iacocca made a decision that seemed risky at the time, but proved to be genius. The new car would share its platform suspension and drivetrain with the Ford Falcon Compact. This meant Ford could develop the car for just $75 million instead of the $250 million the Edsel had consumed. It also meant dealers would not need new parts inventories, and mechanics would not need extensive retraining. When the design competition narrowed down to 6 proposals, Iacocca picked a sleek model called the Cougar, submitted by designer Dave Ash. It had a long hood-short deck and aggressive stance that looked nothing like the boxy Falcon underneath. The production version would be called the Mustang, after the World War II fighter plane. Not the Wild Horse, though the Galloping Pony logo would let buyers believe whatever they wanted. Selling the car internally was almost as hard as designing it. Henry Ford II was still nervous after the Edsel catastrophe, and conservative executives did not believe in chasing the youth market. Iacocca went back to the chairman multiple times before finally getting reluctant approval. Ford reportedly told him, "Okay, I will approve the damned thing just to get you guys off my back." Ford planned the most aggressive product launch in automotive history. On April 17, 1964, the Mustang debuted simultaneously at the New York World's Fair and in Ford dealerships across America. The night before, Ford bought commercial time on all 3 major television networks during the same 30-minute block, reaching an estimated 29 million households. Over 2,600 newspaper advertisements and stories appeared between April 16th and April 19th alone. The response was beyond anything Ford had predicted. Dealerships were mobbed. In Texas, 15 buyers bid on the same car, and the winner asked to sleep in it overnight until his check cleared. Ford had 16,000 Mustangs ready for sale that opening weekend. By Sunday night, they had 22,000 orders. The company immediately converted 2 additional assembly plants to Mustang production. Ford had predicted modest first-year sales of around 100,000 units. The actual number was 418,812, setting an all-time industry record for first-year sales of any new model. By March 1966, Ford had built and sold 1 million Mustangs. The company generated $1.1 billion in net profits from Mustang sales in the first 2 years alone. The Mustang did not just save Ford. It created an entirely new market segment that competitors scrambled to enter. General Motors rushed the Chevrolet Camaro into production for 1967. Chrysler followed with the Plymouth Barracuda. The pony car wars had begun, and Ford had a 2-year head start. Lee Iacocca had proven that Ford could still innovate, that the company could take risks and win, that the Edsel disaster did not define them. He made the cover of both Time and Newsweek in the same week. He would eventually become president of Ford and later save another American automaker when he rescued Chrysler from bankruptcy in the 1980s. But it all started with one bet, one car, one $2,368 Mustang that proved America still believed in Ford Motor Company.